Next on the news, Pope Francis has announced a new Archbishop of Boston, the Holy Father naming New York native Bishop Richard Henning as the big city's shepherd.
God bless the Archdiocese of Boston.
Before school starts again, more than 24 high schoolers went on a mission trip to strengthen their faith. Plus, hundreds of people pray at this Adoration Chapel every month. But when it started to fall into disrepair, one young man stepped up.
An Eagle Scout project has led to a new look for the Adoration Chapel here at Our Lady of Grace Church in Brooklyn. I'm Katie Vasquez, and I'll have that story coming up.
I'm Jessica Easthope. Currents News starts right now. The Archdiocese of Boston, one of the largest in the country, is getting a new shepherd. The Holy Father has accepted the resignation of Cardinal Sean O'Malley and named New York native Bishop Richard Henning as his successor. Bishop Henning, a St. John's graduate whose faith was formed in the Diocese of Rockville Centre, says he was shocked to get the call, but is excited to continue his priestly mission. Bishop Richard Henning is ready to listen and learn. He'll soon become the shepherd of the Archdiocese of Boston and its 1.8 million Catholics.
And so I'll be eager for your witness of faith and to learn your wisdom. I think my first job really is just to be a listener.
During a media conference Monday, current shepherd Cardinal Sean O'Malley introduced Bishop Henning as a warm and loving priest who is continuing his work as a spiritual father.
Pope Francis has said, a priest is someone who transmits hope to restless hearts. In Archbishop-elect Henning, I believe this is to be a true virtue and example of his priestly care for the people of God.
Cardinal O'Malley came to the Archdiocese of Boston at a time when the U.S. Church was in turmoil during what many would call the height of the clergy sex abuse scandal. Both men agree the Church has come a long way since that time, and now Bishop Henning says he's prepared to meet all survivors of abuse with compassion.
I think those survivors, they deserve, they deserve a listening heart. In some ways, they often have as much to proclaim to us about the gospel as we would to them.
Bishop Henning's faith was formed in the Diocese of Rockville Centre, where he was born, raised, and completed much of his priestly studies. He also attended St. John's University in the Diocese of Brooklyn and served as an auxiliary bishop in the Diocese of Rockville Centre before spending a year as the Bishop of the Diocese of Providence in Rhode Island.
I was deeply shocked and surprised by this call, but I know the goodness of God suffices in all things. I will trust in him. God bless the Archdiocese of Boston.
Bishop Henning is fluent in Spanish and working on his Portuguese, which he's hoping to use in serving those two growing communities in the Archdiocese of Boston. He's expected to be installed later this year on October 31st. Congratulations for Bishop Henning have been pouring in, including from Brooklyn's Bishop Robert Brennan, who said in a statement in part, quote, Bishop Henning has been a good friend since our days as students at St. John's University. He's a creative and dynamically pastoral bishop. While I'm sure the Catholic community of Rhode Island will miss him, he will be a blessing to the church in Boston, building on the great work of Cardinal O'Malley. New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan sharing in those sentiments, His Eminence calling Bishop Henning an outstanding priest and bishop, saying, quote, I got to know Bishop Henning well during his years as an auxiliary bishop in the Diocese of Rockville Centre, where the bishops of New York State relied on his wise counsel and pastoral insights. I'm sure that the faithful people of Providence will miss him deeply. For continuing coverage of this papal appointment, just go to thetablet.org. Turning now to the Holy See, who has joined the chorus of outrage over the Olympics opening ceremony. The Vatican says it was saddened by certain scenes during the event, but did not specifically identify the part of the performance that offended Christians when drag performers were seated at a table in a scene that reminded people of Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. The Vatican said it, quote, deplored the offense to many Christians and believers of other religions. In an act of Olympic unity, representatives from the 5 major religions of the world gathered for a multi-faith meeting on Sunday. Standing outside the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, the leaders and some 100 Olympic chaplains celebrated the spirit of fraternity during the most important sports event in the world. They spoke freely, praying and reading religious texts together. The Holy See's envoy to the Olympics says the leaders chose Notre Dame because of its deep religious significance to Christians and because it speaks to all people across the world. More than 24 teens are going on a mission trip to strengthen their faith. 29 students from Xavier High School kicked off their 4-day trip to Maryland on Monday. The incoming sophomores will visit First Fruits Farm and live off the grid while they harvest produce for local soup kitchens and food banks. The trip is an opportunity for prayer and reflection for students committed to deepening their faith.
I'm pretty strong in my faith right now, but I hope to grow and help to have other people grow in their faith on this trip as well.
I feel like as a Jesuit, it's like my responsibility to give back to the community, and I'm looking forward to like working on the field and like helping out people who are less fortunate than me.
This trip is part of the school's Companions of St. Francis Xavier service and immersion program. It allows students to gain a deeper understanding of the world while using their gifts of service for others. Bishop Brennan helped staffers at Citi Field pray for a win more than a week ago. The shepherd of the Diocese of Brooklyn celebrated Mass before the Mets played the Atlanta Braves on July 28th. Mets chaplain Monsignor Thomas Mahalski normally celebrates the liturgy for Catholic players and staff ahead of every home game on Sunday. But that Sunday, Bishop Brennan got up to bat. While the Mets may have lost the game, as a lifelong fan, Bishop Brennan says he was grateful for the opportunity and, of course, still has faith in his team. Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens helped students prepare for the end of the summer and the start of the school year by holding their 14th annual Kids Fun Day. On top of a kickboxing demo by Tiger Schulman's, the event in the parking lot of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in Astoria, Queens last Friday offered fun games and activities along with resources and supplies for students ahead of the first day of school. Since 2008, Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens has provided more than 10,000 children and families with school supplies and backpacks. A Scout summer project will soon unite his parish in prayer. Hundreds of people come to the Adoration Chapel at Our Lady of Grace Church in Brooklyn every month, but the space needed to be spruced up after years without maintenance. That's when a local Scout stepped in, and he's now leading the renovation efforts. Currents News' Katie Vasquez has the story from Gravesend.
A parish that prays together and paints together. About 40 people at Our Lady of Grace Church in Gravesend have donated their time to give this Adoration Chapel a makeover.
20-25 years. It hasn't been really improved upon.
It's a popular spot for the Brooklyn Parish, with hundreds coming in every month to pray before the Blessed Sacrament.
302 people were for the month of November 2023. So that's a huge number to come in every day.
But after decades of use, parishioner Mary Ann DeLuca noticed the chapel was starting to get into disrepair.
Yeah, just stay on this side.
And suggested Troop 376 Scout Joseph Rotundi bring new life into the sacred space.
The floor, there's some issues on the floor. We're going to put new tiles in. The lights, we just changed the light bulbs, but it was very dark in here for a long time. We also gave it a fresh coat of paint, of course.
Joseph is taking on the job for his leadership project, a task which would elevate him to an Eagle Scout.
Any project that serves the community, you have to carry it out, plan it.
His part of the project is to lead.
You're not even supposed to touch the actual work. Missing spots over there.
And while even his parents say Joseph can be a tough boss,
he fired me 3 times yesterday.
Everyone agrees he has brought the volunteers together and transformed the space.
He just tackles anything and he gives everything 150%.
Done a great job delegating responsibility and roles. He knows people well. He knows what they're good at.
But his As fun as it was to paint together, Joseph is most excited for his parish to pray here together again.
Really amazing that they devote so much time to the Eucharist. They're working together and we're completing this project. It feels great.
There's still a lot of work to be done here, so the Adoration Chapel will be closed for one more week until it's all finished. In Gravesend, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
What a selfless way to spend your summer. That is this Currents News update. I'm Jessica Easthope. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.